Stop trying to save me money. This week, 2 vendors have screwed me over because they tried to save me money. When we're talking about building wealth, this is critical to understand and to avoid, period. Hi, this is Justin Hitt with Sustainable Wealth Secrets. I thought I was dictating there for a second. I mentioned my punctuation point. Okay, so this bothers me a little bit. A couple times this week, I've gone out to buy things, or I've been with people who wanted to buy stuff, and they tried to save money over the value of having something go smoother, having something be more accurate, having something take less time. I'm going to give you the most relevant example because what's sitting in front of me is printed out closing documents for a piece of property that I'm picking up. I put a red slash through it because I didn't close this property on the day it was supposed to be closed. Now, the title company decided they were going to save me a little bit of money, and they just said, hey, look, just go get a notary to sign the documents and it'll all be good. So I'm waiting the day before the closing for a FedEx package to show up, because what I was expecting is a FedEx package to show up on my doorstep that I would simply the next morning take to a notary and sign. And then, of course, I'd have evidence of my wire transfer and the whole closing would be done. Sound fair, right? Now, some of this is my fault, and I'm going to accept responsibility here because I did not have legal size paper in my office, because instead of mailing me the closing documents, which are 70 pages or something, they emailed me the closing documents. Now, what's most frustrating is these closing documents contain a lot of private information for both me and the seller, including account numbers and details about email addresses and the location of the property. And if I wanted to buy a piece of property under the radar, I don't need Google and all the internet webber stuff. I don't need a PDF document floating around with all the details of the particular purchase. And ultimately, I didn't realize that they were going to have me print this stuff out. So I didn't have legal paper sitting around. Now, I got legal paper sitting around now because this is a mess. But basically, I missed when they said, hey, look, we're going to save you $200 and send you these documents to get notarized locally. I missed that. What I should have responded with, and this is what you respond with, by the way, is a real quick math is $200 worth my time. Because what it turned out should have been a FedEx document in the mail and a signature with a notary the next morning. Turned out to be a whole day fiasco. So first off, my only notary is up the road. I did schedule a mobile notary to come by, but they didn't show up. The only other notary I have available, which, by the way, if you're going to schedule a notary, schedule them in the morning. Okay. I scheduled this one in the afternoon because that's what they're available for. They didn't show up. And so I had the documents printed out. I had gone and found paper, but by the time I found out the notary wasn't available, I couldn't get to a notary that could sign for me. And I don't have a notary in my office, so double whammy on me. So the $200 up front for the title company to arrange a notary, to have the documents printed out, and to have all that stuff brought to my house is significantly cheaper than me running out to Walmart and finally getting to an office supply store and getting legal paper. Can you see where I'm coming from here? The title company was trying to save me $200. I'm spending $10,000 to secure this piece of property, and it's got $2,600 in legal and closing costs. What's another $200? Who cares? Just put it on there. But see, I made the mistake. I didn't listen carefully to what they're saying, because the other 2 closings I did earlier in the month, actually late last month and early this month, it worked out just smooth. A mobile notary showed up. They had a pile of paperwork. We sat down at the table. We signed everything. I wired money and was done. Okay. But understand here, I'm going to give you a couple tips. First off, you don't try to save any money by, I'll just do it myself. I'll run the Lowe's and get the materials so that we can save $50 from the contractor who could go get the materials themselves and would have a better idea of what materials they need to pick up. Okay, so you cannot take the shortcut. What's the value of your time? How much time it would reasonably take to do this? And if it turns out to be any more than a part of a day, then don't. Now, granted, Lowe's, yeah, you could go online and pick the materials out, and they could have them all waiting for you so you didn't have to run around the store. But there isn't a man on this planet, nor a woman who's handy, who can go into Lowe's and spend less than an hour. Plus, you got the time to drive out to Lowe's, and you got the part, all with the COVID mask situation. Do you see where I'm going here? So don't make the mistake of trying to save money by doing it yourself. Second, if someone offers to save you money, then think real hard about that's their perspective on $200. The person doing the paperwork on the title and the materials at the title company, maybe $200 is a lot of money to them. But $200 to have somebody print a document and bring it to my office and let me sign it is nothing. In fact, it turns out it's only $194. So come on, they were rounding up. My point being is sometimes these administrative and legal activities have other constraints that you're not going to be thinking about. Because I didn't sign the closing documents on yesterday, the 19th, they've got to remake the closing documents and have them printed and sent out again. Now, this time they're sending a notary to me. But I took on the responsibility by doing it myself. I didn't pay attention, and ultimately it cost me about a day of dicking around when I could have taken the kids somewhere and done something. I could have worked on a different project. There's a lot going on. So I lose twice. I lose by not having the documents done, and I lose by having the time wasted when I could have had a professional do the work for me. And finally, I went to go buy something in a store, and I said, look, I'm looking for, actually, I'll give you the lesser example. I'm looking for legal paper. Okay, I need legal paper. And the nice young lady walks over and says, well, here's our legal paper. Here's where the legal paper is. And by the way, when I walk into a store, and I recommend this to you as well, you find an associate. I know a lot of you guys go shopping for something and somebody says, may I help you? And you say, no, I'm just looking around. Well, you're not just looking around. You went to the store for a reason. This person wants to help you. It's their job to help you. They're getting paid to help you, and you go brush them off. No, here's what I want you to do. You walk into the store, the first person who comes by, I have walked into Lowe's and taken a attendant by the hand and walked them through the store as I got my stuff. See, your time is valuable. They have expertise that you don't. But in this case, I come in and the nice young lady says, hey, how can I help you? I say, I'm looking for legal size printer paper. Her response is where the mistake happened. She says, well, we have this paper. It's $9.99 a ream. And we have this paper. It's $7.95 a ream. Now, do you see what happened there? How much information do you have to make a decision between the $9 ream and the $7 ream? And can you see in the language that I just discounted? I actually don't even care how much the paper costs because I'm trying to get out a legal document. So her question should have been, what would you like to use the paper for? What kind of printer do you have? And by the way, they sell printers, and I'm in the market for a nice multifunction machine because my printer is ancient, and I didn't have paper on hand, and I like to have a tray with legal paper in it, and I like to have a tray with 11 by 17 in it because I write all these special reports, and I like to have a tray with regular paper in it. But they said, this one's $9.99, and this one's $7.95. Which would you like? Well, if I don't have any information to make a decision, I could choose the wrong paper. Now, I chose the hammer mill paper because I replied to her, and I know the owner of the store, so I probably didn't need to give her any advice, but I replied to her, do you know what I'm going to use the paper for? See, if she had responded, what would you like to use the paper for? Tell me a little bit about your printer. I would have easily bought the $9. Well, I did buy the $9 paper, but I would have bought the $9 or $15 paper or $50 paper because I'm printing legal documents that are time sensitive and need to be done today. I also don't want the damn thing to jam up in my old crappy printer. And so she could have easily made the more appropriate sale. Now, I'm not talking about her making a higher sale. If I needed a pack of legal paper so my kids could draw pictures, then the $7 paper would have been just fine. But do you see where I'm coming from there? They were trying to save me money. So again, you could be trying to save money because you think you can do it yourself. Someone else might be trying to save you money and you're really not paying attention. You're like, okay, because you're not really clear on the options. Or you're making assumptions about how things can go based on how other things have gone. Or you could be in a place and they're trying to save you money. Actually, we went into a lot of the department stores. And again, it's the mindset of the other person. A pack of 100% cotton t-shirts for $15. A pack of poly blend t-shirts for $4. And they're trying to give me, I said I need some t-shirts. They try to give me the $4 t-shirts. I said, oh, I'd like cotton t-shirts. Now, if I have to come into the store and say I want 100% cotton t-shirts with that are thick and have some body to them that I could periodically wear outside, then I just need to send a personal shopper. You need to hire somebody for the wardrobe and they go out. But I go out so infrequently to get these items that I was just surprised that they led with the price. Now, again, if you have no other way of making a decision, very often people buy the cheapest thing. But if you want to build wealth, it's not about cheap, it's about value. What is the best fit for the outcome that you're looking for? What is the best item to hit deadlines and scheduled dates so that you're doing the closing in 1 day versus 2 days? Because they got people coming out this afternoon, so I can do this closing. And also, are you discounting your value and discounting your special abilities by doing generic things yourself? Now, I go to the grocery store about once a month. I do pump my own fuel, but I live in a very rural area where when I had people going out and doing this stuff for me, there were social challenges. I don't know if this makes any sense, but if you have 8 people out in your yard doing landscaping that weren't hired by a landscaping company, sometimes a city council whose brother-in-law has a landscaping company, they get upset. But long story short, don't try to save money alone. Now, you can save money, but there has to be other decision factors when it comes to the outcomes that you're looking for. So consider your time, consider the time and expertise of other people, consider the process for getting something to a certain outcome or objective. Are you willing to make that investment in it? Consider the fit for purpose. And all these things together is what builds value, and that excess value is what builds your net worth and your wealth. I'm Justin Hitt with Sustainable Wealth Secrets. And if you have any questions about this or any other program, visit me at www.sustainablewealthsecrets.com. Be sure to join my mailing list because my podcasts tend to be a little bit of a scavenger hunt. I don't have them all in one place on purpose because it's a certain type of person who can stop and think, do I build my house myself even though I have the skills, or do I hire a general contractor for liability purposes? Do I go to a done-for-you legal service, or do I download a form online? Or do you hire the lawyer to write boilerplate forms because you're going to have a volume of those forms? These are all questions that both support the time capital that you have, the knowledge capital, and the financial capital that together yield to you wealth that cannot be taken away. Thanks for listening.